Bob, do you want me to say something stupid for the open?
Isn't that what you do? Is just say stupid stuff all the time?
Okay, well, do you guys measure from the balls or the base?
Wait.
Because there's 3 inches inside you, so you don't want to short yourself, you know?
Oh, do you measure?
Yeah. Well, there's 3 inches inside you, so, like, do you count the balls? Because then you got to kind of do math, because if you got big balls or low swingers, I mean, you got to give yourself 3 inches of grace.
You know, I wish my name was Big Balls, like the guy in the Doge department.
We're on the podcast. I'm Skinny Penis. You could be Big Balls, Ball. You would. We'll call you Double D.
Oh man!
And
what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bridging the Geekdoms. We took a little bit of a break. I got a job, and Colton's doing Colton things, and
Colton was participating in the longest jerking off session ever in 2026.
And we added someone to our show to help make this a better circle jerk, I guess, in some ways. Or
me and Bob were tired of the monogamy life, so we
what was
opened
it called? A Dutch rudder. We were sick of doing the Dutch rudder.
Which I grab my dick, you grab your dick, you work my arm, I work your arm. Same time. It's like jerking off together, but not gay.
Right. Now we human centipede.
So with us today,
dibs on the middle,
and hopefully always, if he doesn't say what the fuck did I get myself into, is Jerry. What's going on? He's Comics Cuts is what he's known by on the Twits or the X's. He used to have a podcast, but I won't get into that. If he wants to talk about it, he can. But for the listeners, for the viewers, for those tuning in, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into doing podcasting and content creating, and why we should care about what you say.
Yeah, so I got into it. You know, I started social media accounts literally just to meet other people that were talking about comic books. I got obsessed with comic books, and I just wanted to talk with other fans. Eventually, I had commented under someone's video, and that guy had invited me to join him on his show, and we ended up doing it together. And we no longer do that. It's been probably like a year since then. And yeah, so I ended up making my own channel. I didn't really stick with it, but I ended up, staying on Twitter. Like I said, always wanted to just talk with other fans, really like Twitter, and, became good friends with Slav. We've been tight for a while now, and I was lucky he asked me to join. But why I think you should care about my opinion, I'm not just smart. I'm not just fucking great. No, I read a lot of comic books. I know what I'm talking about. I really care about this stuff. I'm a huge movie fanatic as well. So, hopefully I could give you some comics-based insight into where I think the story is going and what they're doing and all that good stuff. And listen, people say 2 things about me. They'll say I'm a nice guy. They'll say I'm an asshole. Believe both.
I'm going to say this. I think the coolest thing about bringing you on here and what I'm looking forward to the most is your knowledge of comic books. We've had this conversation before in the past. I dabble in comic books. I've read them for years and things like that, but I don't have the wealth of knowledge that so many comic fans have. So I do a lot of my research after the fact. When I see things coming up in the films or on TV shows, I do my research. And a lot of times I'll buy the comics and read them at that point if I've never read them before. I've read a lot of the bigger things, bigger runs, but that's how I get a lot of my research, because if there's one thing that can be said about comic books, that medium, it is really hard to jump in. Like, you don't know where, and I'm not saying I wasn't able to, I did, but for a lot of people, it is really hard to just jump in, to find a place, whether it's Marvel, DC, Image, it doesn't, Dark Horse, all of those comic book lines over the last 30, 40 years or more. There was never just hey, I'm going to start right here because I'll know what's going on. And that's never been the case. And Marvel and DC have kind of addressed that a little bit lately, but the thing is there's so much information that goes back over the decades, And in my conversations with you over the last couple of years, you know so much, and more so about Marvel, I think, than anything else. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, that's what's really interesting.
I'm a big DC guy, but I definitely when I started reading comics, I actually started with DC. I started with Batman, but then once I ended up reading Marvel, I just connected with it a little more than I did the rest of DC. But I'm still a huge DC fan. And you're so right. Comics are so difficult to navigate. It's crazy. If you're going to, watch an Avengers movie and you say, hey, I heard Avengers Infinity War. That sounds cool. And you went to watch Avengers Infinity War and it's the first Marvel movie you saw, you would be lost. Well, the comics, there's so many more comics that it's hard to pick up where something falls on the timeline. And even on top of that, if someone recommends to you Infinite Crisis and you read Infinite Crisis, but you don't read Crisis on Infinite Earth first, you're going to be lost. And that was one of the things that was really tough for me when I first got into comic books. I used to go to the store and buy stuff I didn't even want just to get recommendations and guidance from the guy that was working at the shop. It really is very complicated. But if anyone listening wants guidance, Comics Cuts is my Twitter handle. Reach out to me. I'm always happy to help with that because if I had someone like me when I first started, I would have loved it.
Yeah, definitely. And then we got Colton down there. He's just there. Gucci gang. But no, I definitely am looking forward to seeing how this can grow, how we can grow this channel because we were going strong for a number of years. It kind of fell off, and we really want to bring this back. We want to make this something really cool, something fun, something special. So you may see or hear, if you're a podcast listener or if you're a viewer on YouTube, you may see us changing things here and there, trying to adjust things the best way that we can. Just stick with it, man. Just, hopefully you stick around and like what you see. So, yeah, that is what I say there. All right, let's kind of get into things here. So, upcoming Marvel movies. So, MCU Phase 6 and beyond. What I want to do is I want to kind of sit here and talk to both of you, and especially you, Jerry, because of your Marvel knowledge. But I'm always curious about what Colton says, because But I want to get from you guys, with these upcoming movies, what is it that you're looking forward to the most? What do you think is going to be the most impactful? And do you think that Marvel is going to see the heights and see the success that it once had going back about 10 years ago? So I'm going to start going through this list here. And obviously the first movie coming up here is just in a couple months. It's Spider-Man Brand New Day, coming out July 31st. I'm going to start with you, Jerry. What is your expectation for this movie? Do you think it's going to be successful? What are your thoughts?
I not only think this movie is going to be so successful, I think it's going to do a minimum $1 billion, but I also think that it's going to be iconic and generational in a way that we haven't really seen since Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Before Spider-Man Brand New Day was announced, one of the things that I kept saying that I wanted to see from Spider-Man in the MCU was a classic New York Spider-Man movie, because we never really got that in the MCU. People complained about too much involvement with Iron Man at first. Then, it was, in Europe was the second one. And in the third one, obviously people complain about the cameos now, even though they loved it at the time, which is a whole other story. But we never really saw Spider-Man swinging through New York, he interacted with some people in the first one on the streets, with the hot dog stand and the deli and stuff like that. But I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of that, and, a classic suit and all this kind of stuff. It's way overdue. I think that this movie is going to be generational and iconic in a way like Sam Raimi, and I think people are going to love it and talk about it and post pictures and videos about it for years to come. As excited as I am for Avengers Doomsday, I think Spider-Man Brand New Day might give it a run for its money.
Colton, what do you think?
I agree. I think it's going to do well. I mean, it's a Spider-Man movie. No Spider-Man movie in the MCU has really done all that bad, to be honest. I do want to point out this is a terrible promo picture because Tom Holland looks like a 4-year-old that just walked into his parents' room and told his mom he threw up.
Just walked in on them doing the
Like,
deed.
Mom, I threw up.
He does look like he has bedhead, and his mom is being like, "Hey, you want breakfast?"
Yeah. With the door behind him,
yeah,
shining behind him.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, I think Spider-Man is going to be huge.
Anyway, I'll digress.
You good? You good?
Yeah.
All right.
We're good. I think
I also meant to say, so I saw that Kevin Feige had said, I don't know if he said it today, but it was in Empire, the Empire article that, the cover was unveiled today. Yeah. He said that this is going to be a classic New York street level Spider-Man movie. And it's crazy that he said that because that's what I always said I wanted to see from this movie on the old podcast that I used to do. So, I'm not saying Kevin Feige was watching what I said. I'm just saying great minds think alike.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of people have been asking for that, especially with this Tom Holland version, because he became Iron Man Jr. He really did. And for me, I do think this movie is going to be successful. I think it's going to be, a lot of fun. The director of Shang-Chi is the one that directed it. And, financially, I think, it's definitely going to hit $1 billion. I don't think it's going to hit that 2 billion mark that we saw basically No Way Home do. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I do. I just, everybody's a sucker for a Spider-Man movie. I had a discussion online the other day, and I'm trying to explain that, in the genre of the superhero films, you're guaranteed that Batman now is going to be a big hit. And it's pretty much always been a big hit. Spider-Man, a big hit, pretty much has always been a big hit. So when you sit back and think about it, it's kind of like, this movie's going to be big just because it's Spider-Man. So, I mean, that's kind of how it is. Sure, Spider-Man had a drop with Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think. Rightfully so. But, I mean, it is what it is.
But I do think, like, the on-street filming that they did in London and those pictures going so viral, and a lot of the marketing they're doing for this movie is making a difference. Like, yes, I also think Spider-Man's the best managed character in an IP, like, period. When you think about it, every year they release either a game that people love, a movie, whether it's animated or live action. There's every year you're getting a Spider-Man project that is being received like excellent level well. So I think that they just do a really good job with it. But at the same time, it is Spider-Man, and he has the heritage and the iconic legacy to hang back on. And only so many characters get that. Spider-Man and Batman are the top two, and anyone who's under them, even if they're number 3, they're levels under them.
Yeah. After that, we get Avengers Doomsday in December. This movie is going to be ginormous. It's going to do numbers that I don't think anybody is really expecting. I think the reason that it's going to happen, though, is not because of story. There is no story. We have no story going into Doomsday. Whereas when you take a look at what happened with Infinity War and with Endgame, it was kind of like, hey, man, look at this. We got, 10 years of story here. But here we don't have anything. So when I sit here and think about it, it's going to be big because of the little stunts that they've pulled by pulling in the X-Men, pulling in Spider-Man, pulling in, Robert Downey Jr., excuse me, as a villain. Like, that's the thing that we see. But Colton, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There's no story really to build upon. It's like, oh, hey, we brought back Robert Downey Jr., but he's Dr. Doom now. And I mean, I think it's going to do well. I mean, maybe 2 billion. If not, it's going to be around 2 billion. But it's going to hang on mostly, like you said, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, the old Avengers, well, not old Avengers, but like Thor, stuff, those guys. Because we don't really have anybody post Infinity War Endgame that you can rely on.
No, we don't. I mean, they never built anybody up. to be. Here's the thing, and before you get into it, Jerry, let's not forget that Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther was supposed to be one of those characters, but he passed away. And then they did the dumbest thing in the world by not recasting T'Challa and making a Black Panther 2 without a good story. So, damn it. So that's what's going on there. But for me, I sit here and I take a look at this movie and I'm just kind of like, whatever. I mean, I'm gonna go see it because it's a Avengers movie, but I'm not hyped like I was for Infinity War. I'm not hyped like I was for Endgame. I'm curious, but I am not to the point like I was with those other two films, and I think that is going to hurt. It's going to be successful, like you said. It's going to make over $1 billion. It's an event film, but because it doesn't have that I don't know, like that emotional baggage that the Infinity War and Endgame had, it's not going to hit the 2 billion heights that the last two films have hit. So, Jerry, what are you thinking?
I understand where both of you are coming from. I don't think either of you are wrong about anything you said at all. However, from my point of view, I do think, first of all, to add to what you said, Colton, they said that this movie is basically ties into the ending of Endgame, which is crazy because by doing that, you're acknowledging that everything you did in the multiverse saga is not as significant as what you did before, at the very least. And that's me putting it generously. Okay. I didn't say irrelevant. I didn't say doesn't matter. I said at the very least, it's not as significant to the story as what happened before Endgame. And it's called Endgame. So, but when I think about movies like Fantastic Four, I love that movie so much. And most people just think it's okay. And I think that's part of the issue. It's like someone like me who reads every Fantastic Four comic, and the Secret War saga is like my favorite story ever. I'm more connected to this story, and I have more of a love for it, or whatever you want to say. And that's a problem. Like if someone like me is able to enjoy a movie that much more because I read the comics, like you need people to be bought into the story, not because they're bought into the comics. And a lot of MCU glazers, they won't admit that. They think, everyone who says something bad about Marvel is like, they're going to be there day one. Well, of course, it's an Avengers movie. Yeah, they're going to see it, but it doesn't mean they think it's going to be as good as Infinity War. And it doesn't mean that their criticisms or complaints are invalid, because there's a lot of valid stuff being said. And I think you'd be hard-pressed to rebuke what Colton or Slav said.
Yeah, because realistically, the Thunderbolts are the only ones that have been built up during this.
Yeah, and that came out last year. Oh, yeah. And another thing that John Campea said that was really interesting, that I think, at least, like, I didn't pick up on this until I heard him say it, was, people are talking like, oh, well, Doomsday or Brand New Day could potentially do $2 billion. And he was like, and I'm not saying it can't happen, but when people say, oh, well, No Way Home did 1.9, you have to remember, not only did No Way Home bring in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, No Way Home came out like very shortly after Avengers Endgame. And it was before MCU really took its downturn, which their downturn, I'm pretty sure, really started with Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. But, going into these movies, like, yeah, Marvel had a good year last year. It wasn't anything like the Infinity Saga, though. So people aren't as crazy. You have a lot of people that are like going to see this movie, but they're cautiously optimistic. It's not the same as going into Spider-Man No Way Home at all. And, because of that, I'd be hard pressed to say either of these movies did $2 billion.
Yeah, the thing, if Spider-Man does well, that definitely helps people get more excited for Avengers. Even though rumor has it that Tom Holland's Spider-Man isn't even in Doomsday, but it's not that they're excited about the character. They'll be excited about the idea that, hey, Marvel is back on track. We see that with even Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts was a good start to coming back. Thunderbolts was a really, really good movie. Fantastic Four, while I still think it was only the third best comic book movie of last year. It was decent enough. It was decent enough. And then you look at Daredevil Born Again, that the second season of that was fantastic. First season was ass, but the second season was great. So we're seeing the pieces for Marvel kind of coming together again. And I think people are starting to get their excitement, their hope, their intrigue back for it. I don't think it'll be enough for Doomsday to hit that 2 billion. I don't think it's going to be enough for definitely not for Spider-Man to hit that 2 billion. Doomsday could. Let's say it comes out and it's a great story. Absolutely. If it's a lot of fun, if there's a lot of action, yeah, I think it'll hit 2 billion. But I honestly think right now that if you were to get professional trackers to look at it, they would probably say it's not even going to hit 1 billion at this point, because I just don't think it's there yet. I don't think the hype and excitement for it is there yet. And that's just my opinion.
And honestly, I don't feel like no matter how well it does with the amount of marketing budget that they're putting into it and just the overall budget, if it doesn't hit the 2 billion, it's still going to be viewed as a failure.
Well, that's just how people look at things.
It's going to be viewed as a failure if it doesn't hit 2 billion.
Yeah, just the budget for the movie alone.
Yeah,
I mean, not that it'll be a failure, but Marvel won't make its money.
It's gonna look like Batman v Superman did. Batman vs Superman should have hit $1 billion. Plain and simple. Batman v Superman in 2016, the middle of the superhero hype, should have hit $1 billion, touting Batman and Superman in the title of the movie, adding in Wonder Woman. $1 billion, it should have been able to just blink and hit $1 billion, but it didn't. And it was not a failure. It was not a catastrophe. It didn't meet the expectations. It was disappointing. It was a disappointment in the eyes of the studio and the eyes of a lot of the audience. So that I could see happening to Doomsday for some people. Some people I think are just like, it's going to hit 2 billion. It has to hit 2 billion because of all the money they're putting into it. And if it doesn't, that doesn't mean it's a failure, but it's disappointing. It's a disappointment of a film at that point, I think. Yeah. I think that's kind of what you're trying to get at.
Yeah. You're good. You're better with words.
Why
use many words when few work?
Another thing that John Campea said was that he said it a while ago, but he said that he talks to someone who tracks marketing and attention and all that kind of stuff, and with movies. And he said that he's never seen the level of hype on a movie before that he's seen on Avengers Doomsday.
I don't see it. I don't see it. Like, I mean, we're in the same, circles on Twitter. I don't see it there. I don't see it.
Once that trailer hits, I think is when you're going to start seeing more of it, because we don't even have a picture of Dr. Doom yet. The trailers we have were such short, like 4 1-minute teasers where you really didn't see anything. I think people are going to start, you're going to start seeing more of it once there's more imagery to share.
Yeah. Next up, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is not an MCU film. I guess Screen Rant just doesn't know what they're doing. But they put that in here. And yeah, I guess it's going to be fun and exciting, but I don't think if you guys want to talk about it, we can, but I just, meh.
I'm a fan, but I don't need to talk about it.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, guys, after Doomsday, we don't have another movie until Secret Wars. Is that right? Do we really? We don't. We do not have another MCU movie for an entire year. So that tells me one of two things: that there's going to be a massive event that happens at the end of Doomsday, which has to essentially put a stop or put a halt on the world in total. Now, I think Daredevil Born Again season 3 will be out between that time, but Vision Quest comes out before Doomsday. So there really isn't anything between Doomsday and Secret Wars. It's hard to talk about Secret Wars though, because we don't know what Doomsday is going to do. Colton, I'm sorry, I don't know if you've ever read Secret Wars. And there's 2 versions. You have the 80s and you have the 20 teens version. So I mean, yeah, we could sit here and talk about what our expectations are, what we think is going to happen based on those 2 comic book runs, but in reality, we have no idea.
It's very speculative, considering we'd have better speculations if we'd at least seen Doomsday, but we haven't. Yeah. But what I will say is what I think I really want to see from Secret Wars is, like I'm curious if the battle is really going to be between Doom and Reed. I hope it is, because the 2015 Secret Wars is a real like character analysis on both of them. But I'm predicting at the end of Avengers Doomsday, Dr. Doom creates Battle World, which, if you don't know what Battle World is, the incursions, all these Earths and universes are colliding and they get destroyed. But Dr. Doom, using the power of the Beyonder, takes the scraps of the planets and builds a planet for people to survive on. And he makes himself Emperor Doom and like takes over the planet, and it's so badass. Oh man, I'm so hyped. I love it. It's my favorite story ever. I really do think that the Jonathan Hickman Avengers into Secret Wars saga is the greatest story ever told.
Yeah, I don't agree that it's the greatest story ever told, but it is a really good story. I still believe that they're going to take elements from what they did in the 80s and then the Hickman run. I do think they're going to take a little of both. Personally, though, I don't know. I have a feeling they're going to Civil War this. And if you know me, you know that I think Civil War is probably the most overrated Marvel movie that there is.
I know.
Yeah.
And I have a fear that, I'm not saying that with Doomsday, because I think Doomsday is essentially going to be their own kind of thing that they're coming up with. But Secret Wars is, I think they're just going to Civil War it, and it's just going to be, a sad attempt at recreating such a iconic moment in comics, but doing so half-assedly and just not going to work. So that's my worry. I hope I'm wrong, but that is my worry, because I'm not as sold on the Russo brothers as a lot of other people are. Yeah, I know they made billions of dollars, but you could have put Bull directing the Avengers Endgame and Infinity War, and they would have made billions of dollars. It doesn't matter who you would have had directing those movies. They would have made billions of dollars just because the story was 10 years in the making. So, I'm not as sold on the Russos, even though The Winter Soldier is my favorite. Well, it's tied with my favorite MCU movie. I still am not 100% sold on them.
I hear you. I love Civil War, but I know we've spoken about that before.
Say, if anything, reference some of our previous episodes.
Yeah. Now, Black Panther 3, we do know, is in development. Rumor has it that they're going to fix the wrong they made and actually recasting T'Challa, even though they tried to do things haphazardly. Spoiler alert, at the end of this movie, you find out that T'Challa had a kid off screen, and his name's T'Challa also. And
T'Challa too.
Because if you didn't want to recast T'Challa to honor Chadwick, why would you just do a loophole? Because the loophole is the same thing.
Yeah.
So,
it's T'Challa too furious.
It's not that I don't like Shuri. I just don't think Shuri works as Black Panther. If you were going to pick, if you had to go the female route, because that was during the time when everything had to be female and gay or whatever, when they go that route, it should have been Okoye, right? Yeah, is who they should have picked, I think. But whatever, it is what it is. I like Shuri as a character. I didn't like her as Black Panther. So yeah, that's, again, we don't know much besides that, because so much of what happens at this point is relying on what happens with Secret Wars. That's kind of the whole thing.
We were robbed, though, because let me tell you, T'Challa and Namor's rivalry is one of the best in comics. And if we got to see that in the MCU, that movie would have been one of the best MCU movies. They fumbled so hard by not recasting.
And we may still get it if they, with Secret Wars, if it kind of resets, does like a soft reset on the universe, and we have a new T'Challa, they could still be at odds, and they could build that rivalry up. But Blade, It's never getting released, people. I tried to tell you this 3-4 years ago. It's not getting released, and nor should it with Mahershala Ali as Blade. I like him as an actor. He's a great actor. He's not Blade. Like, I'm sorry. I look at that picture there. I do not see Blade. I've never seen him as Blade ever. Like, I can't see it.
That's Morpheus, man.
That he looks a lot more like Morpheus than he does.
Don't give them ideas. They're looking at doing more Matrix movies. So,
I heard the fourth one was so bad. I still haven't seen it.
Dude, it was horrendous.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was so bad.
I struggled getting through it.
Well, actually, speaking, I'll sidetrack us for the first time. Did you? So you remember like the Matrix? What was it? Like a hardware showcase for the Xbox and PS5 when it came out.
No,
I think it was Revival or something like that. It just got taken off.
I remember they did some kind of event.
I think you told me to download it, Bob.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an experience. Like you downloaded to Xbox and you could go through.
Oh. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah,
it just got delisted like this week. Completely side tangent. Sorry.
No, I think we're gonna get a Blade movie or a Blade something down the line? Absolutely. I think Marvel is missing out on a huge opportunity with not doing the supernatural stuff like they could be. There's so much of that supernatural world within the Marvel universe in the comics that is so great, so much fun, so just wacky, wonky, and exciting that they're really missing that in live action. Look, I mean, Werewolf by Night, which came out 3 years ago at this point? Has it been 3 years?
Something like that.
That was fantastic. That was so much fun. It was so interesting. Like, I wouldn't be mad if they just did these special presentations on Disney Plus, like 45 to an hour long episodes or shows of the supernatural within the Marvel universe, and have an episode or a couple episodes with Blade that pop up that they do. Like, that's how they could do it. I think that would be really cool, but I just don't see them doing a Blade with Mahershala Ali. And fun fact, I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure you do there, Jerry, because you listen to a lot of the podcasts I do. But the wardrobe person that was working on Blade before it kind of got pushed to the side took all of the wardrobe with her over to the movie Sinners.
I didn't hear that. That's crazy.
So
I mean, that makes sense.
Because it was going to be a period piece about vampires, and Sinners is about vampires.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Sorry, I'll go back to Blade real quick. Do you think Marvel's just not ready for a horror movie yet? Like how DC's doing Clayface? Yeah, it's Clayface.
I honestly don't know what it is. I don't like. Over the years, we've heard so many different takes that first it was going to be a Blade movie, but it wasn't about Blade. It was about his daughter becoming the new vampire hunter, and he was just going to be a mentor. Then we heard there was going to be a period piece, and then it was kind of like, how can they fit vampires into Marvel? Like, how do they do that? And you just do it. In my opinion, you just do it. You just act as vampires have always been there. You act that they've been there for centuries or however long that they've been there for, and you just go about your day. Yeah, why would vampires pop up in any of the other Avenger films? It's not relevant. You don't need to. The world's a big place. That's something that people just refuse to acknowledge and understand when it comes to these universes. Is they're huge. They're big places. So obviously, things are going to be happening while other things are happening, so it's kind of like, to me, why not just make it happen? I think that's kind of what they've been worried about, is how do you fit vampires into this? Just do it.
They could have just done like Blood Hunt. Blood Hunt came out a couple years ago. It was a Marvel comic, and basically the Vampire Nation came to like plunge Earth into total darkness. And obviously people were getting bitten and becoming vampires. It was actually a really cool comic. They could totally do something like that, but they don't have to even do a movie. You could do a TV show of that, and they've shown that they could make these big narrative stories in TV shows with Daredevil Born Again. You don't need to make something an event crossover movie that you have to build up to within movies. You could do it in an 8-episode show, and like, I think that goes over a lot of people's heads about what just happened in Daredevil, because everyone for the longest time thought if you're going to do something like, say, Blackest Night, you need to make sure you do a couple movies before it that are building up to it, where now you can just do an 8-episode series and do it all in that series.
Yeah. Armor Wars is another one I don't think that's going to actually happen, because originally it was supposed to be a TV show, then it was going to be a movie, or it was going to be a movie, then a TV show. I don't even remember at this point. I think it's too little too late. I think it's one of those things that this should have happened shortly after Endgame. It should have been a thing. I think once Secret Wars happens, I don't think we're going to see much of Rhodey at that point in time. I think his character's pretty much done. You know, like I don't see a need for him anymore. Do you guys have anything to say about that?
What do you mean? Don Cheadle's just going to fight the guy who originally played Rhodey in Iron Man 1. That's the Armor Wars. Come on. It writes itself.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You know,
and it fits. It's multiversal. It just happened in a different universe.
He has become the most like crazy conspiracy theorist too. I don't know if you've seen any, like, I think he was on Joe Rogan a couple years ago. What's his name again? You just said it.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Yeah, dude. He's wacky. But whatever. I'd pay to see it. I would.
Yeah. I mean, and you fit it in multiversal. It happened on a different Earth.
I happen to like the comic, you know, but I do think, like, where are you going to put it? It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Shang-Chi 2 should have come out 3 years ago. I'm waiting for this movie impatiently. The first one was fantastic. It gave me feels of Dragon Ball Z and Marvel Comics smushed together, and I loved it. So I want to see a second one. There's a rumor that they're doing a spin-off show from Shang-Chi, possibly following the what is the group?
The Z Warriors.
The Z Warriors. No, that's Dragon Ball. The 10 rings. The 10 rings. That's rumor right now. I don't think it's going to happen though. But what do you guys think? I mean, did you guys see the first Shang-Chi? Did you like it? Have you been waiting for a second one? What are your thoughts?
I loved it. I was shocked they haven't put a second one out yet. Like, if you wanted to talk about building up new Avengers and the new roster, this was the guy. Everyone loved him. He had charisma. You know, he was cool. His action, his fighting, all of it was great. And we haven't really seen or heard of him since the movie came out.
Yeah.
I say out of all the to be announced or to be determined release dates, this one's the one I'm most excited for, to be honest.
Yeah.
Definitely makes sense. Then we're going to get an X-Men. We know that. And that's where we'll put it into it here. X-Men. We know that we're getting mutants. Disney bought Fox. We knew eventually we would see mutants in the MCU. We've seen Deadpool kind of in the MCU. We've seen Wolverine kind of in the MCU. Now there's, Kamala Khan from Miss Marvel. She has a mutant gene apparently in her, according to the Miss Marvel show. So they're building two mutants. The question is, are they going to be able to pull it off in a way that is better than what we got in the past? I mean, let's first off, the original X-Men movie back in 2000, it's dated. It is. Look at what they're wearing. I mean, come on, they're wearing motorcycle leather suits here. Still though, great movie, a lot of fun. Then you have the First Class set of films, which were fantastic, with the exception of Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix. But yeah, I just don't know. Like, I think it's more about the cast. Like, I'm at the point where it's like, I don't want Hugh Jackman to come back as Wolverine. I don't want Wolverine to even be a main character in it. I think they need to give him a bit of a break. But then you're like, well, that's where the money is. And it's kind of like, well, there's so many other X-Men that are cool and could, like, come on. Like, there's more than just Wolverine. There's more than just Cyclops, like, give us. And they didn't really handle Cyclops well in the last 8 movies to begin with. So I'd like to see maybe them expand him. But that's my thought. I'm worried they're going to fall into the same tropes of just like, we got to use Wolverine, and you know what? Just bring Hugh Jackman here until he's dead. What do you guys think?
But he is still super jacked. He's a jacked man.
You know, I think the thing is, I know a lot of people aren't going to want to hear this, but when it comes to Hugh Jackman, his time is up. I'm a huge fan of his. He was great as Wolverine, but if you want this new MCU X-Men to feel fresh and new, you can't have old faces that have been there since 2000. You need to bring in new actors, and the talent is out there. And I really think that you can't afford a big misstep like that on the next MCU saga, considering, you know, we're just going to be coming out of the multiverse saga. Obviously, there was a lot of turbulence and downturn for a long time. They got to play their cards right. And I'm sorry, Hugh Jackman's got to go.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think everybody in that picture, except for, I get booed the moment I share my opinion. I think everybody in that picture, minus Hugh Jackman, and I can never. I'm bad with names. Professor Xavier, I can't remember.
Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, there we go. I knew it was Stewart, but I couldn't remember his first name. Everybody else but those two should come back.
Everybody else should come back.
Yeah.
No, you know, I really like. I would love for Patrick Stewart to come back. I would love for Fassbender to come back. But like, we just need new faces. We really do. And here's the thing with the X-Men: everyone, like, every time I've said this, someone's always like, "Oh, well, this one or that one or this." They all got to go. And trust me, I want Fast. If I had my choice for any of them that could say, I would pick Fassbender with Magneto. But again, you want to feel new, you can't have old.
Yeah, definitely. But okay, guys, final question about this. With seeing these upcoming 8, because the Spider-Man thing shouldn't be in there. Out of these 8 potential projects that could or may not be coming, the current stance on Marvel, how do you feel about it? Do you think it's going to be hitting the heights that it hit before? Start with Colton.
Are we talking multiversal saga or just
it's just MCU as a whole? So from today to what we just talked about, do you think it's enough to bring it back to what it once was?
I mean, there's potential. I mean, it just depends on how Doomsday plays out, honestly. But I mean, like, Blade, that could be a TV show that could do well. Black Panther 3, I'm not really excited for it. Secret Wars, again, depends on how Doomsday plays out. Mom, I fruit up. Honestly, I'm kind of tired of seeing him as Spider-Man at this point too.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's something about like someone my age, which I'm 30, sadly.
Okay.
Just playing a teenager. It's like, come on now, get an actual teenager, or there's Spider-Gwen, there's Miles Morales. Just throw another Spider-Man-esque character in there. It's not hard to introduce and throw in.
Yeah,
give us a new team. Oh, okay. It's okay, guys. It's okay. I've always wanted to eat a shotgun sandwich.
I always wanted to see Ben Reilly, Spider-Man clone.
But like, I mean, we've seen Peter Parker how many times? Why not give us a new Spider-Man woman?
Peter Parker's the best.
Nah. I'm a Spider-Gwen guy. I'm not gonna lie. I like Spider-Gwen.
I like Spider-Gwen too, but like Peter Parker is Peter Parker.
What do you think, Jerry? Where do you think the MCU is going? Do you think it's going back up, or
I think last year it started to go back up, with Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Daredevil first season, the one that we just finished. I think at the end of this year, Marvel is going to be officially back. I think Spider-Man and Avengers Doomsday are both going to deliver, and deliver so hard that, for a while, everyone was trying to force themselves to say, Marvel's back, but they never really were. This time it's going to be real.
I think that we're going to see it go up, 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 go up. Secret Wars comes out, and then it's just going to drop again. It's going to go back down to not to the lows that it was when they were putting out Multiverse of Madness and the Marvels and things like that. But I don't think it's going to be able to stay consistent. I don't think that it's not what the audience wants anymore. They're not overly excited about the genre any longer. I think they're kind of just the audience as a whole is just kind of like, we'll watch them. Sure. The industry has changed so much. over the last like 6 to 8 years that when you think about it, sure, people will go to the event movies and get excited about that kind of stuff. But if it's not something that they they don't have time to invest, all of this time to like they did. Remember, Infinity War and Endgame, and I think people take this for granted. Those were more because of the age that those people were building up to it. They had time. They weren't with families and they didn't have jobs, or they didn't have full-time jobs, or, all they had was school, or maybe it was just living on their own. A lot of those people, by the time Infinity War and Endgame came out, they were taking their kids to see that movie. They were taking their families to go see it. And then after that, they're like, well, that was fun. Let's move on to adulting now. And I think that's a big part that played into all this that a lot of people don't take into consideration. And I feel that it's going to be the same with Doomsday and Secret Wars, because they're going to be like, oh, Robert Downey Jr. is back. I got to go see that because I remember him whenever I went and saw Endgame 10 years ago. And then they'll go see it, and then it's over, and then it's, it's back down to where it was. So that's how I see it playing out. I do. I just, it's the genre. People need to stop expecting these superhero films to do $700, $800, $900 million anymore. It's just not what it is. Can it get to that height again? Maybe. I just don't think that's what the expectation should be, with the exception of the big event films, with your Avengers, with your Spider-Mans, with your Batmans. Those are what sell.
Yeah, you're not going to get away with Ant-Man anymore.
No.
No, it's a good point. And also, like these horror movies, and I hate horror, so I don't know, much about the ones that are. Hey, you just Peter Parker, okay?
Everybody gets one.
yeah. So I got mine. But yeah, the horror movies are becoming really popular yet, and people love going to them. I don't think they're going to overtake the superhero genre. I just don't even think they have a chance. But it is interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely is. I do want to. I've been slowly getting more into these new modern horror films. Like I want to see Obsession. I want to see Backrooms. I want to see Iron Lung. But I'm not a big horror fan either. But people are loving them right now. Like that's kind of the big thing. Like horror, I think, is bigger than it's ever been, and that's just the way that. Look, I mean, you go back. 50, 60 years ago, it was Westerns, then it was the big muscle action movies with Schwarzenegger and Stallone and Van Damme and everything like that through the 80s and 90s. And then you had your comedy run, it just goes like that. Like it's,
yeah, I just think superheroes are different in that they're, is so much more like the IP and the franchise behind it is bigger than just movies. And because of that, I don't think it will ever like go away or not be relevant the way it was before Iron Man 2008. I'm not saying I disagree with you that these movies aren't going to be doing 700 mil plus, like it's nothing anymore. And to see that, but we'll still see $1 billion plus, but it'll be few and far less in between.
Yeah. All right, guys, let us know in the comments. We went for like an hour on this. I didn't think it was going to take that long, but we did. We got some more things to cover here for sure. So we're going to talk about that, but let us know in the comments what you guys think about the MCU. Do you think these upcoming films over the next couple years are going to be able to get it back to its height and stay there? Or do you think it's just going to kind of go like a roller coaster up and down for the rest of all time? Let us know in the comments below. I did want to talk about Supergirl, but we can leave that for our next episode because, we still got like a month until it comes out. So I'm not too worried about that. I do want to jump to Star Wars, though. I want to talk about The Mandalorian and Grogu. Now, Colton, did you get a chance to go see The Mandalorian and Grogu?
No, we went to Korean hot pot and barbecue instead. I'm sorry.
And that is why you're a loser. Jerry, I know you went and saw it. Yeah. I saw it. I'm going to give my quick little reaction to it, and then Jerry, I'll let you give a quick reaction. And we're going to talk about its box office. Now, I was not excited for this movie at all. Like literally, I didn't understand why they decided to make it a movie. I didn't think it was going to do very well. I just, there was nothing about it. Like, don't get me wrong, I loved Mandalorian season 1, season 2, fantastic. I think they should have stopped there though. I think the original plan that they had, where at the end of season 2, that story was done. They were done with Din Djarin. They were done with Grogu. They were supposed to then be, season 3 was supposed to be about Boba Fett. And it was supposed to carry on with them. And then season 4 was going to be about Bo-Katan. Like they literally, like that's what it was supposed to be. Because if you see what they did in that universe, you see season 1 and season 2, very cohesive story, very together. Then they came out with the book of Boba Fett, and you're kind of like, okay, Din Djarin shows up, makes sense, like that's fine. You know, it's not his overarching story anymore, but he pops in. But the only reason why they brought him in is because they were like, we got to sell toys. We got to bring Grogu back. So that's what they did. And then you take a look at season 3 of The Mandalorian and you're like, this is Bo-Katan's story. Like, this is all about Bo-Katan. Be damned, Din Djarin. So for me, I'm like, this whole universe, like, why even make this a movie? Because it should never have gotten to this. So I go in and I watch the movie, and I got to say this, guys. I have never been so disappointed walking out of a Star Wars movie. Now, some context real quick. Colton and I went and saw The Last Jedi together. And
did we? Here's
the thing. We went and saw The Last Jedi, but we liked it. Like we convinced ourselves that we liked it. We went and then saw it a second time that night. And I think we both fell asleep while watching when we saw it the second time. But we went and saw it the second time.
We made it to the casino.
Yeah. And then The Rise of Skywalker, there was so much emotion there because we're being told it's the final one. It's the final thing. So again, coming out of it, I convinced myself that I enjoyed it. So coming out of the theaters to those two movies that I actually do rank lower than Mandalorian and Grogu, I was still more excited and happy than I was coming out of this for the Mandalorian and Grogu because it didn't feel like a movie. The first 10 minutes, absolutely. If the whole movie would have been the first 10 minutes, I'm sold. That would have been a fantastic film. But it wasn't. The first 10 minutes happen, and then it just is a slog. And they have the Hutts talking basic, which no, it's stupid. It's stupid. Don't do it. It looks dumb. And it sounds dumb. And the movie just wasn't exciting. I literally started to fall asleep during it. And my daughter, my 5-year-old daughter who was with me, she was sitting right next to me and she just wouldn't stop moving around. So I didn't fall asleep because of her. But I honestly, like, the movie was boring. And then the final act, like the last third of the movie, it was so boring. It was pointless and stupid. And then the music was horrendous. Look, I like Ludwig Göransson. I think he's a fantastic composer. But the music in this film felt like it should have been part of like a Star Trek movie or like Flash Gordon or, Battlestar Galactica, like not Star Wars. It didn't feel Star Wars. So to me, it was not a good film. It wasn't. It shouldn't have been made. It felt like 3 episodes. You actually can tell while you're watching the movie, you're like, oh, that's where that episode would have ended.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where that episode would have ended. Oh, that's where that episode would have ended. Like you can see that happen while you're watching the movie. It's pathetic. But Jerry, what did you think?
I thought it was decent, and I went in expecting it to be horrible, and I thought it was decent. I enjoyed it to an extent. I think people are overhating on it. I kind of think it's a glorified 3 episodes of The Mandalorian. And in that case, if you like The Mandalorian, the show, you should like The Mandalorian, the movie. However, I think the other issue here is that Star Wars doesn't have any real direction in their universe right now. And this is a standalone spinoff that has nothing to do with the main direction in Star Wars. That's non-existent anyway. But if it's okay to make movies in a universe that don't advance the story forward. However, if you have only standalone stuff like The Mandalorian and no real direction, then it's a problem because people want to see direction from Star Wars and there is none. So they're not getting what they want to begin with, and then you have a lot of people not liking the movie, then you have a really big problem on your hands. And that's what I think. Also, you know, a lot of big movies are coming out in the next couple weeks. Oh, I went on a tangent. Sorry. I meant to bring that up. And also, yeah.
No, you're fine. No, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of other movies coming out in the next, you know, Masters of the Universe, Toy Story, Supergirl, Minions, you know, Moana. Like there's so many movies coming up. Disclosure Day, which I can't wait to see. Those movies are going to just pull from this audience. Hell, Obsession just pulled from this audience the other day. Like Obsession made more money than a Star Wars movie did on a Wednesday. So you're sitting there, like you see the people just look. I sit there and I say, look, it's a good looking television show on the big screen. It did nothing to move the story forward for Din Djarin or Grogu. Grogu's still jumping around and talking baby talk.
Right.
Like, it's stupid. Like why? And Din Djarin there was no character development for either of the main characters in this movie. None. There was no character development. Not even for Rada the Hutt. There was no character development. Like it was just like, hey, he's imprisoned being a gladiator of sorts. We got to get him out. Well, he doesn't want to get out. Oh, look, they're going to kill him. Oh, look, things happen, so he's out now. Okay, now he's going to take him to his aunt and uncle. They're going to kill him. Oh, but he doesn't die, and that's it. Like who cares?
I wanted to see character development with Grogu. Like that is who I wanted to see.
Yeah.
Some change, some growth with. I mean, he's been a baby. Like, what is he? Is he going to go back to thinking about being a Jedi? Is he going to be more autonomous? Like
the last thing I'll say when we're talking about Grogu, I think that the smartest move would have been to, if they wanted to continue The Mandalorian, do an entire season or more without Grogu there. Grogu was off training and learning with Luke Skywalker during that time. You can even show us some episodes where that's happening because, you know, he's a character, so we want to see that happening. But him and the Mandalorian just aren't together for an extended period of time. But as Grogu gets stronger and better within the Force, he starts to have the same type of issues that Luke Skywalker had, and where, oh, my friends are in trouble, I need to go save them, which they kind of did that, but they did it like that, you know. If they would do that and have that kind of growth with him, like, hey, Grogu was going to be a Jedi, but it was his father, his friend, he had to go save him. And because of that, he chose a different path. And then you could have seen some character development with the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and struggling not having him around anymore. Things like that. Like that would have been more interesting than how they've handled these characters thus far. And they are not different. End of season 2 of The Mandalorian to now, the characters are the exact same. We've had 8 episodes in an entire movie, and they're the same characters.
Also, what they did in season 3 was horrible because they laundered the Mandalorian title into being a Bo-Katan show. I sat down and bought in to buy The Mandalorian, not Bo-Katan. The show is called Mandalorian, but you made it a Bo-Katan show, and you wasted my damn time.
Colton, do you have anything? I know you haven't seen it. Do you have anything to say?
Basically, what you guys just told me is it's the Clone Wars. What did that movie come out? 2008?
Yeah, 2008. Yeah,
you just retold the movie.
Well, no, that's the thing. It's like a sequel to that movie.
Yeah, like nothing changed.
Rada's just, kidnapped again, kind of, but
kidnapped, wants to be killed.
I mean, it's just
family's just less happier to see him.
But what we see here, because we're going to move on and take a look at the box office here, and this is via Box Office Mojo. We see currently worldwide, it's at $171 million worldwide. The budget was supposedly around like 165, something like that. So it made its budget back, yay! But it's still not in the green because it hasn't covered the marketing costs, so on and so forth, plus the cut for the theaters, all that. So after the first week, I mean, we're a week into this movie, it's only made 171 million worldwide, people. Now, opening weekend, it made 81 million. There were some people who were thinking that it was only going to make like 55 to 60, 70, and I just think that's crazy because Star Wars alone, the name Star Wars is going to get you pretty close to 100 as is. But again, the story just wasn't good enough to warrant people going back to see it over and over again. There was no reason to, because it's a TV show. This is one of those things that's going to just blow up on Disney Plus. Yeah. It is. It's going to blow up on Disney Plus, but they're not going to make their money back completely. And we're seeing now opening weekend was 81 million. Domestically, we're at 108 right now. We saw a 60% drop come Tuesday, but people, it was Memorial Day weekend, so you see 33, 25, 22, 16. This is domestic numbers that people went to go see the movie, and then it dropped 60%. That's $4 million it made yesterday on Wednesday. Look, I think this weekend it'll probably bump up a little bit because I don't think there's really anything coming out this week besides Back Rooms. So sure, it'll probably bump up to maybe 20 million, maybe, on Friday, and then Saturday, maybe another 20 or, 15, 16 somewhere. It's going to drop. It's not going to do well. Like I would say this box office is going to finish sub 700. I would even say probably closer to 600 million is where it's going to finish when all is said and done, if not lower. And that's disappointing for Star Wars because it needed a huge win, and this just wasn't it.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the box office? Where do you think this puts Star Wars in the eyes of everybody, in the eyes of the company? Like, we got Starfighter next year, but...
Yeah, I think it was a mistake, and it's tarnishing Star Wars's box office reputation, prestige, by doing this, because now the next time they put out a movie and it doesn't look good, theater owners might not allocate as many screens and things like that. This does have real world consequences. It's not just we took a financial loss on the movie. It's going to affect other areas of Lucasfilm's business.
Yeah, I just, this is a byproduct of, we don't know what to do with it, so here you go. We're shoving shit in your face. Just have, and I mean, that's really been the problem post Last Jedi, really. Like Last Jedi slid down. The Rise of Skywalker slid down some more, and we just haven't heard really anything since.
Yeah, but let us know your thoughts, guys. Let us know in the comments. Did you see The Mandalorian and Grogu? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Look, people are freaking out at me on X the other day because I said I didn't. People were like, "Oh, it made $100 and some million opening weekend," and I'm like, "Well, first off, that's globally, not domestically, and secondly, that doesn't mean it's a good movie." Star Wars alone is what made it get that much money. But people got mad at me. Oh, you just are a hater. No, Star Wars is my first love, people. I say it all the time. Star Wars is my first love. And it just wasn't a good movie. But let us know your thoughts in the comments. Where do you think this is going to go? How do you think Lucasfilm is going to look at the box office? And so on. All right. I was going to rank my Star Wars movies now and see what you guys did, but we are so behind schedule here. So we're going to move up to something that I know that Jerry's going to be excited to talk about. Is Amazon is currently looking for the next James Bond. All right. The next James Bond. Daniel Craig looks old.
He really does.
Oh, man. Like, I remember when they cast him, I was like, yeah, man, he's going to be cool. Now I look at him like, I never want to see him as Bond again.
Yeah, now he looks like a 55-year-old lesbian.
He does.
Yeah.
But the hunt for James Bond is officially on. The search for James Bond is underway. Amazon MGM Studios said in a statement, while we don't plan to comment on specific details during casting process, we're excited to share more news with 007 fans as soon as the time is right. Variety reported that MGM has enlisted help of Nina Gold, who has previously aided in rounding out the cast for Game of Thrones, The Crown, Conclave, Les Miserables. She's also responsible for casting Daisy Ridley in Star Wars Awakens. Well, now it's going to suck. But
yeah, not to alarm you guys, I've been cast as the next James Bond. So.
Wait. So there's obviously a bunch of names that have been popping up for the next James Bond, but I don't want to pull them up and kind of, give you guys an idea. I want your thought, like immediate. Who do you think should be James Bond?
Callum Turner.
Who?
So I think it's Callum Turner.
Callum Turner?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Callum. Because
Callum?
that's how John Campy pronounced it. But I was called him Callum until I heard that. Callum.
Yeah, this guy here.
Yeah.
He looks like he should play Q. He should play Q.
He was great in Masters of the Air, which, by the way, if you haven't watched it on Apple TV, it's sick. But, he looks a little rugged. And, I also really like Aaron Taylor Johnson. But I think because of the James Bond for the video game First Light that just released yesterday looks so much like Daniel Craig, it leads me to believe they might want a rugged-looking Bond. But they also said at the same time that the new actor has to ooze sex appeal. And when I think of oozing sex appeal, I don't really think rugged, but I don't really know what, oozes sex appeal means for a dude. So
Henry Cavill?
I you just took my recommendation.
A lot of people are saying I hate that fantastic more than
I don't, but go ahead, Colton. So Henry Cavill, why would you pick Henry Cavill?
I mean, just look at him. Let him grow out the mustache. Dude's I'm not gay, but I would.
It reminded me of this. I don't even want to say it, but I was going to say
okay, you're in a safe space.
There's a meme where the guy says, "I'm not gay anymore. I am delivered," and it was a video from a guy in a church. And when you said that, I immediately thought of that video meme. It just
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
we can't openly talk about that on the internet.
So Henry Cavill
on this
43, Callum Turner is an age that 36. So he's 36. Henry Cavill's 43. Daniel Craig was what, 40? So he was 40 or 40. How old was he when he started? I want to say he was in his 40s. I know he was in his 40s.
He was, I forget how old, but he wasn't in his 40s, but he had a movie come out when he was like 42 or 43.
Was Daniel Craig for Casino Royale. There we go. He was 38. Okay.
Yeah, so that was pretty old.
Yeah. So now I could see them going Callum Turner, or Calum, however you say it. But you said mine with
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson. I can't talk. I think he would be fantastic as James Bond, and he's 35, so he's the same age as Calum. Jacob Elordi, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and 19 more actors rumored to be the next James Bond. No, I think he would be fantastic. Did you see Bullet Train?
Yes, he was great.
Dude. Yeah. Like that's him showcasing like he can be Bond.
Yeah,
because just the way he put himself off. Like, sure, he was a bad guy in that, and was but just his mannerisms, the way he 100%.
He could be a Pierce Brosnan like Bond. That's who I see in it.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Oh, what the hell? Look, my thought has always been for 007. I talked about this a couple years ago. What I really think they should do is they should make it a anthology series. Don't give us a running story like they did with, it was cool to have the Daniel Craig series because that was long lasting 10 15 years, whatever it was. It was great. It was a lot of fun, had its ups and downs, but it was still fun. What I would love to see is let a director come in and say, you know what, I want Henry Cavill as James Bond. And then the next director come in and say, you know what, I want Aaron Taylor Johnson. I want that. And just give us different stories. And hey, it could be a story that takes place in the 60s, a story that takes place in the 80s, a story that takes place in the 2070s and in the future. That's what I want to see. But they're never going to do that.
They'll never do it, thankfully. But because also, I think they recognize how sequels and franchises dominate the landscape right now. So they want a to reboot into an era that they could sell the way the MCU does. Not saying there's going to be spin-off movies or anything, but just the sequel matters more. And the other thing is, the James Bond movies used to basically be anthology because there was no real connection. I mean, there was a couple things, but you didn't need to watch the first movie, Dr. No, to watch Goldfinger or something like that. So, but yeah,
you could at least given us one with a different person as Bond. Come on, man.
Oh yeah, Moonraker.
There you go. That works. Yeah. Or one of my favorite that people don't like, License to Kill. I don't know why people don't like that.
I love License to Kill and The Living Daylights. I think Colton's one of the best.
Dalton was fantastic. Come on.
He really was.
But yeah, I think this is it's an exciting time because it's gonna give us renewed interest in Bond. It's gonna be interesting to see how Amazon handles it now that they're kind of the ones running the show with it. I mean, because they have pretty much all the rights. The Broccoli family doesn't have any say anymore, right? If I'm not mistaken. So
correct. But I think the Broccoli family had to approve this because if you're to be a writer of a James Bond novel, you have to be approved to write the novel from Ian Fleming's family. Ian Fleming's the creator of Bond. Obviously, he's passed now. But in 2023, they censored the old books. And they edited all of them to not offend people. So that was really concerning. And I have concerns about Amazon and how they handle this.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It definitely will be. I'm just going through here. A lot of these people I just don't see as honestly, I like Aaron Pierre. I finally watched Rebel Ridge last week. Dude, it is so good. It is so good. But I don't know if I see him as Bond, but he is a great actor. Like I was always on the Idris Elba bus for being Bond one time. I think he would have been great, but he's too old now, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. I think our three choices are solid choices. I'm not a big fan of the Callum Turner. Henry Cavill, I think, is just a little too old, although I wouldn't mind seeing him. I just think Aaron Taylor Johnson is the best one, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think Aaron Taylor Johnson would crush it. I wonder if they're gonna pick when they pick someone, if it's gonna be one of the names like Aaron Taylor Johnson or Callum Turner that have been floating around, or it's gonna be someone we've completely never heard about. But
Colton Bird.
Hey,
what's interesting is that when they announced Daniel Craig, people lost their minds because he was blonde, and there were websites that went up that blondenotbond.com. There's actually a documentary where Barbara Broccoli and even talks about how brutal it was and how she saw it upset him. But eventually when the movie came out, they all shut up because he was that good and Casino Royale was that good. So even if they do announce the actor and there's backlash, like I can pretty much guarantee you whoever they pick, there's going to be some sort of backlash. It's going to be big on the internet, but it happened last time and it doesn't mean anything.
All right, guys, let us know.
Oh, good.
You say.
I will say if they cast Jacob Elordi, the series is dead.
That I agree with. I would be furious if they cast Elordi.
Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think should play the next James Bond? Are you looking forward to it? How do you think they should handle it? Let us know in the comments below. And we're going to talk about two more quick things in the video game section to appease Colton. No, we're going to talk about it because I think it's some pretty cool things. And then we're going to do a quick game that I want to do because
Christ.
Can
I not get embarrassed this time?
All right. So first up, we got 007 First Light has officially launched. I'm showing the PS version here. You can buy it for $70. One player, one online player, online play optional. I have not played it. I plan on playing it. I just don't know when. Did you get a chance to play it, Jerry? Did you?
No, I downloaded it and I am playing it as soon as I get off work tomorrow. I try not to play video games during the week anymore because it just doesn't work with my routine. Sucks.
Gotcha. Colton, did you have any intention on playing this game?
It's on my. I think I get paid. Do I get paid tomorrow? Whenever I get paid next, it's on my agenda to buy.
To purchase. Yeah, I mean, it's had a lot of good reviews. A lot of people have been reviewing it pretty well. I saw some pretty wonky things though from some people playing online, like streaming it, that I sat there and was like, ooh, that's what that is. So yeah, I don't know. Like, look, I'm a GoldenEye kid. So
no, you don't have gold eyes.
And bastard. That game was revolutionary. Look, it's dated. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh man, like no game can stand up to it. No, games can like, people need to get over this whole thing that what they loved in their childhood cannot be stood up to. Like, it absolutely can. But for its time, it was revolutionary. And between then and now, we've had many James Bond games. A couple have been okay, but they just haven't been great. They've not set the bar like GoldenEye did. I think a lot of people are hoping this is going to be the one that really sets the standard moving forward. I just think it's an interesting set of time because I don't see Daniel Craig in him at all. Number one, and number two, they're about to launch a new universe, a new series of movies. So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But what do you guys think? Do you have anything to say about it?
Everyone's saying this game is incredible. One of the best games ever. It's a combination of Uncharted and Hitman. I think it looks really good. And yeah.
Yeah, based on the screen grabs and what I've seen, it looks like it's an Uncharted-esque game. But I do like the attention to detail back on the main character thumbnail there. The trigger discipline. Oh. Really dope. Well, you don't see that. They always have a finger on the trigger, which is something that if you're going to pay attention to that little detail, like see finger discipline, that it might be a pretty good detailed game. I don't know. I just go into games like this, like we'll play it, we'll figure it out. Oh, that's nice looking. That's me. That's me. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. By the way.
It should be interesting. We'll definitely see. But let us know your thoughts. Did you guys get a chance to play it? What do you think? Should we buy it? Should we play it? Let us know. I mean,
buy it and play it.
Stop being a pussy.
God damn. Man.
This is exciting here. This is something that I don't think a lot of people knew was coming. But Unreal Engine 6 was unveiled just a few days ago. And the first big game that it's going to be utilized on is, well, Rocket League.
Yay.
How do you feel about? Look at that, dude. Look at the grass.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame it's for Rocket League, but I'm excited.
Yeah. So here's the crazy thing. Unreal Engine 6. My brother-in-law told me that because I sent him, I was like, hey, did you hear this? He's like, dude, it's just Unreal Engine 5, just with the ability to make your own games with it. So technically we've had games utilizing this engine. It was just the Unreal Engine 5, such as Fortnite, so we have had games utilizing this engine just in a different name. But I still think it's cool. I think the cool thing that I want to bring up about this is the whole Rocket League of it all. Rocket League's been out for 15 years now, and it's never gotten an update. Essentially, like it's been the same old engine. So it's finally getting updated, which is I think exciting a lot of people. But I know Colton, you are a big Rocket. Well, you used to be. I don't know if you still are. You used to be a big Rocket League fan.
I dip my toes in it. I mean, it's exciting. I'd much rather see it debuted in something like GTA 6 or even 007. That would have been cool to see it. But Rocket League is like cool. The cars are shiny and more detailed.
Yeah,
that's all it's showcasing. I mean, there's no fans in the crowd. I mean, yeah, I could see a blade of grass. I'd be more impressed if I could see hair physics actually work in a game. I mean, just being honest.
What do you think, Jerry?
I've never played Rocket League, but when I saw this, I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." But what I don't get is who's going to be making games with Unreal Engine 6? Like, you have to still know how to make a game. It's not like it's not like I can just put an AI in and say, "Hey, make me a game." But that'd be pretty cool if you guys.
So as it says here, look, regardless, the reveal eventually launch an Unreal Engine 6 will have ramifications for the video game industry. Many high-profile games already utilize Unreal Engine 5. Black Myth, Wukong, Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, and recently released Lego Batman, Legacy of the Dark Knight, as well as The Witcher 4 that's coming out. Marvel 1943 will be utilizing it as well. So, look, I mean, this engine is being used just as Unreal Engine 5. So companies are using it. It's just, it's going to be easier for them with Unreal Engine 6, essentially.
I'm surprised it said 1943 Marvel, because a lot of people have been speculating that game was canceled because it was announced a while ago and we saw that original unveiled video, but we haven't seen anything since. But it looked incredible. I'm really hyped. I hope that game still does come out.
Yeah.
Okay, here's me saying the first cancelable thing at the end of the episode. I behaved myself. I think Mustache Man's going to make an appearance in that game.
Who?
Mustache Man.
Oh.
Smittler. Yeah.
All right. So let us know in the comments, guys, what you think about Unreal Engine 6. Dude, are you excited about it? Are you happy? I think the big news is just the Rocket League of it all. Like, that's the big news of this. So how do you feel about that? Let us know in the comments below. All right, guys. So we are going to play a little game here.
I want to play a game.
And I'm going to be completely honest. I stole this game from another podcast. I don't remember which one it was, because in my notes app here, when I hear something on a podcast I think is cool, I'm like, I'm going to steal that and do that. So it could have been, I don't even remember. So
as long as it's not the card game I made an ass out of myself with the last time.
Well, that'll come back. That's just, we're not going to do the same thing every episode. We're going to do different games at the end of every episode. So here's the kicker, though, with this. This is basically cut that, is I think what they were calling it. So basically, I'm going to start giving off a list of movies, okay? And you either keep it or keep it against the next one that comes up, and then it moves on, or you cut that, and the one that you kept moves on. Do you understand what I'm saying? So, yeah. For instance, I would say, okay, your first movie is A New Hope. Your second movie is Revenge of the Sith. Which one do you keep? And then you say Revenge of the Sith. Okay, so your movie is Revenge of the Sith. Your next movie is Platoon. And then you say, you know what, I'm going to keep, I would rather keep Platoon. So then Platoon moves on. You understand?
Yes.
Okay, got it. But here's the kicker. The kicker is I'm going to alternate between the two of you.
Oh, shit.
And
I'm going to apologize now. I'm sorry.
I have a handful of comic book movies. These are highly regarded comic book movies. And we're going to figure out what is the best out of these. I'm going to start with Jerry. Your first movie is Captain America Civil War. And it's going up against Zack Snyder's Justice League. Which do you keep?
Civil War.
Civil War?
Yep.
All right. Colton, you have Civil War or Batman 1989?
89.
Oh.
Batman.
Interesting. All right. Jerry, you have Batman 89 or Avengers Endgame?
Avengers Endgame.
Oh, come on. That one was easy.
Colton, you have Avengers Endgame or Infinity War?
I'm going to take Infinity War. I liked it more.
All right, Jerry, you have Infinity War or Batman Begins?
Infinity War.
Whoa. All right. Colton, you have Infinity War or Man of Steel?
I'm going to say Infinity War just for the lore of the film.
Jeez. All right. This should be interesting, Jerry. I purposely did it this way so you would get this. Infinity War or The Dark Knight?
I feel like I accidentally played a role in this one.
Oh.
I didn't think it would be Infinity War that made it this far, but
yeah.
He can't
Dark
decide.
Knight. Dark Knight.
Dark Knight. So we are up to the Dark Knight. All right, Colton, the Dark Knight or Wonder Woman?
Dark Knight.
All right, Jerry, Dark Knight or Shang-Chi?
Dark Knight.
Colton, the Dark Knight or the Winter Soldier?
Dark Knight.
Man. The Dark Knight or Iron Man?
Dark Knight.
I kind of think I know how this is going to end now. Colton, the Dark Knight or Superman Returns?
Probably Dark Knight.
All right. The Dark Knight or Spider-Man 2?
Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah, well, there you have it. Let's see. The Dark Knight or Catwoman?
Oh, come on, Dark Knight.
It's funny that we're both ending with Dark Knight. That was the last one.
And one more for Jerry. The Dark Knight or No Way Home?
Dark Knight.
Wow. You guys really hold the Dark Knight up, don't you? I would have picked...
I love that we both ended with it.
I would have actually picked Winter Soldier over the Dark Knight. And so, like, if it came to me for the Winter Soldier, I would have picked Winter Soldier. I may have even picked Spider-Man 2 over the Dark Knight. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. If it was a different day, I'd probably have different results.
That's a fun little thing. So I did an easy one where it was just comic book movies this week. So the next time we do cut that, it could be, just movies of the 80s or movies of the 90s. Like we can do something fun.
Oh, yeah. Now we're going to predate me. Uh-huh.
Movies of 2002. Just that.
Yeah, where I was 6. Yes, Blue's Clues. Obviously.
But we do.
Clues or Rugrats.
I do plan on doing fun little games like this. Like the last episode we did that one game, Movie Flicks. It was hilarious.
Or what did I say? Wonder Woman like 15 times in a row. Couldn't think of anything else. I still can't even think of his name.
Well, you couldn't even think of what was it, Inception or an Interstellar?
It was bad. Well, I got hung up on Michael Keaton.
Oh yeah.
That's like brain could not comprehend anything else.
But if you guys have any ideas, you, the audience, or even either of you two, if you guys have ideas for little games to play at the end of every episode, one thing I forgot to do this. I wanted to bring this up and show you guys this. I'm going to show you all this if I can find my.
It's Bob's butt plug collection. I knew the day was coming.
So let me see if I can find it here. Where's it at? Share audio as well. All right. So I saw this TikTok pop up the other day. And Jerry, I don't know how much of a fan of Star Wars you actually are. I don't think we've ever had that conversation.
I'm a Star Wars fan. I grew up loving it, but it's definitely I don't love it as much as I love Marvel, DC, James Bond.
So this guy has an opinion on Luke Skywalker, and I want you guys to hear it here.
Imposter is,
can you hear it?
But it's not Luke. And I'm not just talking about the weird CGI Uncanny Valley thing. I'm talking about how Luke Skywalker was never a badass. Throughout the entire original trilogy, Luke was not a badass. In fact, his story is the antithesis of a power fantasy. It's a deconstruction of a power fantasy. In many ways, this scene is sort of the culmination of a weird Mandela effect phenomenon wherein a whole bunch of Star Wars fans, including the creators of this show, have this false memory of Luke Skywalker being this badass Jedi warrior with almost godlike powers. But that never happened in the original trilogy. In the original trilogy, Luke Skywalker is a bumbling failure for the most part. He's constantly getting knocked unconscious. He's constantly losing battles, and he's getting captured all the time. The thing that people remember from Return of the Jedi is the scene where he enters Jabba's palace for the first time. And it seems like he's going to be a badass, but then he promptly fails. He fails to shoot Jabba the Hutt. He almost dies to the Rancor, and he ends up in chains. There's nothing badass about what happens here. And that's actually really important. Luke Skywalker is captured 3 separate times just in Return of the Jedi. First by Jabba, then by the Ewoks, and finally turns himself into the Empire. I mean, he spends most of that movie in handcuffs. In fact, the only time that he comes close to being maybe a badass is in that final fight with Darth Vader. But he is this close to turning into a Sith Lord. If he doesn't stop and throw away his weapon, he will turn to the dark side. The movie is not ambiguous about that point. It is very clear. So how did we get here? How did we get to a place where a critique of a power fantasy, a warning about how absolute power corrupts absolutely, gets retconned into a pure power fantasy? Well, part of that has to do with the extended universe, right? The sort of wish fulfillment fan fiction that we find in comic books and video games and novels. Stories that turn Luke into a just godlike badass, where he sees an Imperial walker and then crushes it with his mind. Now, part of that is because a simple power fantasy sells a lot better. If you're going to sell action figures and cereal and Lego sets and video games, a simple power fantasy sells really well, especially to young men who want to sort of embody that feeling of power. One of the many things I appreciate about The Last Jedi is that it addresses this question directly. It addresses this false collective memory of what Luke Skywalker is.
I think what? I'm going to walk out with a laser sword and face down the whole First Order?
And then, of course, he does exactly that, only it's not him. It's a projection of all the things people want him to be. It is a false image of himself, the badass Jedi warrior. And then that false memory serves as a distraction so the Resistance can escape. This is not...
All right. I want to know your thoughts on this.
I actually agree with a lot of it because I always felt that way about Luke Skywalker. I never thought he was a badass, and that's part of the reason I was always a Darth Vader guy over a Luke guy, but I still think that they butchered using him in The Rise of Skywalker.
Colton?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I was just waiting. Bro definitely wasn't a Star Wars fan in the early 2000s or 90s or 80s, but he does have a point. I mean, with the EU no longer being canon or whatever it was, I mean, Luke Skywalker is a pussy. I mean, in the canon, he is. He sucks.
So I disagree with this guy completely. I do. So first off, he's not wrong about how he is in the original trilogy, but let's not forget he's on the hero's journey. The hero's journey is first reluctant. You don't want to become the hero. Then it's the training and becoming the hero. And at the end of the day, he becomes the hero. It's a journey of failure and never giving up, and failure and never giving up, and failure and never giving up, to the point where, look, he defeats the big evil. You think he's just going to go sit in the corner and never grow and become somebody better? Like, you think he's going to be, all right, I'm all good. I'm just going to keep being the whiny little bitch I was, and that's it. No, that's not how humanity works. It's not how people are. They're going to grow. They're going to get better at their trade, and what they do as a job or what they do as a sport or whatever it is, because they keep working and getting better at it. So the expectation that, by the time Luke shows up in the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian, he's walking in and wrecking shop, that fits with what would happen in reality. Like, he's getting more confident and better in being a Jedi, and he comes in and guess what? He's wrecking shop. Not to mention that there's this mysticism around Luke Skywalker, and we're seeing this happen from the eyes of Grogu, of the Mandalorian, of Bo-Katan, of all the characters that are sitting there watching this on the screen. We're them watching a Jedi who is at probably peak performance. So it's going to look awesome. It's going to look cool. It's going to look badass. That is why this guy is wrong about this, because then when you get to The Last Jedi and he goes, they look at it right in the face, and we remember that, that's not what he's ever supposed to be. No, he wasn't supposed to be that in the original trilogy, because he was on the hero's journey of, going from being, I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it, but I keep failing. I keep succeeding. I keep failing. I keep succeeding, to the point where he succeeds the ultimate goal and becoming the hero. But then you don't just stop there. You keep moving forward. And that's why this guy's wrong.
He fails to acknowledge, like, yeah, he's the last Jedi, technically. I mean, well, God knows how many survived Order 66 and beyond, but it seems like every new series we get 7 new Jedi that survived. But
14,633,000.
yeah, only actually like 5 Jedi died during Order 66. So
the ones we saw die in Revenge of the Sith are the only ones that died.
yeah, those are the only ones that are dead. Shakti has died 7 times and keeps coming back. But I mean, just realistically, you've just discovered this ancient, well, at that time, ancient religion, basically, and you're the last one on either side that's still standing as far as you know or concerned with. Yeah, you'd go to different temples and just continuously learn about, you know, what you are, the powers you have, and whatever, and get better. Like that's just something that would happen.
And that's what you do. So, look, you know, Luke Skywalker essentially is what he needs to be for each story. So when, like I said, when you're watching Mandalorian and you see him coming in, he needs to be that mythic, you know, amazing Jedi there. Because that's what everybody views him as at that time. Remember, in the story, in the lore, it's Skywalker is the one who defeated the Emperor. Like, people know that. So yeah, it's going to be like, holy crap, look at this Jedi coming in here. In The Last Jedi, it could have worked because if it wasn't a story about the Skywalkers, then it would have been like, hey, we're looking at this old hermit from the outside, but we're not. This is a story that was still the Skywalker saga, and that's why that movie failed, because it did not acknowledge that Luke went and had any growth from 30 years ago, you know, and that's why that movie failed. You need to acknowledge that there's growth. Like, if you're looking at Luke at that time from another point of view, from, like, you know, I don't know, anybody, and you sit there and you say, oh, he's just an old hermit who fucked up. Okay, sure, I get that. But that was still Luke's story, and we needed to be told his story, and it was not done well. And that's why The Last Jedi is a failure. But this is just me wanting to rag on The Last Jedi, really.
Someone better not tell Pop Detective how, like, Chewbacca dies in the EU, because then we'll get a whole video about how Chewbacca is not a god, and this just is just a hairy dog on 2 legs.
Yeah. But all right, guys, let us know your thoughts about this in the comments. I didn't mean to take up any more of our time, but I did. So screw it. I'm in charge. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell
yeah. So
wow. Didn't even censor that part. That's crazy.
All right, guys. This was a lot of fun. Like, I can't believe we almost went 2 hours, but it's a lot of fun. We're gonna have to tighten this up a little bit, so we'll have to rework how we do this. But like I said, it's gonna be a work in progress to see how it goes, because we all got great thoughts and great
2-hour run times.
Yeah, this was a blast.
It was great. So everyone, make sure you hit that like button, hit subscribe, follow Jerry Comics Cuts on the X. You can follow Colton on the X at White Ruby 53, but he's never on there because
I don't really use social media, so just find me on Xbox or PlayStation.
He's a punk ass bitch.
I'm a buster.
I asked Slav. I was like, you know, does Colton have a Twitter? He was like, yeah, but you know, I followed you and I saw your last post was from like years ago. So
yeah, no, I just don't use social medias.
Okay.
Unless if you add me on Facebook, there's just random memes constantly.
Yeah, it's nothing but memes on Facebook. That's all it is. And then I just throw usually a GIF up there to have fun with them.
Yeah. So. Also, remember, people, 10 years ago today, Harambe died. Pull your dicks out, please.
It's so hard to say goodbye.
I'll see you crossroads.
All right, guys, but hit that like button, hit subscribe, follow us on the podcatching apps of your choice. And with all that said, guys, we're gonna get out of here, and I'm gonna go to bed because I got to work tomorrow, and I believe those two have to as well. So, yeah. You all take it easy.
Have fun.
You're okay. I'll end the recording.
I just wanted to make sure